What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Movie Raised.
The best thing about Legacies is that it includes so many Easter eggs, and many of them are connected to the Vampire Diaries. Even if the show has ended, its characters have survived in this new series. Legacies is a spin-off of The Originals, which is a spin-off of The Vampire Diaries. The focus of the show is on a girl named Hope Mikaelson, and she studies at Salvatore School for the Young and Gifted, where the supernatural characters learn more about their skills and how to control them. So guys, without further ado, here are things you only notice the second time you watch Legacies, because let's admit it, we've all watched it more than once. Number 10, the genre.
Parties in the woods and crash the local high school's dances. We fall in and out of love and break each other's hearts.
It's a fact that we all enjoy watching TV shows or movies about high school, even if we're not teens, and that's perfectly normal. Luckily for us, they're all over the streaming platforms nowadays. Whether you're looking for something like Gilmore Girls or you're more of a mystery person, and you watch shows like TVD and Legacies, there are tons of great high school shows you can watch right now. Now, let's go back to Legacies. Other details have been included in the show, but basically, and we believe not many fans noticed, Legacies is a supernatural high school drama. It's hard to notice because of the whole supernatural background, but after watching it a couple times, you get the idea that the show is certainly a high school drama, which is cool, by the way. Number 9, Dragons. The search for Landon and the CW's Legacies included a creature that is usually seen in shows such as Game of Thrones. One of the Legacies premieres involved Landon Kirby, a stolen knife, and a bus filled with burnt passengers. We found out later that Landon isn't accountable for killing those innocent people, but the research to discover him did expose a mystical being that is rarely seen in shows such as Legacies. Now, do you guys remember when Legacies introduced dragons in their show? Well, the dragon can turn into a giant, and they are able to breathe fire even when they are in their humanoid appearance. And this is not something unusual. For instance, East Asian stories are famous for showing dragons in humanoid forms. Furthermore, dragons have a famous reputation in Dungeons & Dragons and D&D relevant media, since there are half-dragons everywhere. Number 8, a TRIBRID. Now let's go into Hope's character and her characteristics. First, we need to mention that she's a TRIBRID, and a TRIBRID is a hybrid with a mixture of 3 supernatural species: vampire, werewolf, and witch. And Hope Mikaelson is actually the first living TRIBRID. She got her werewolf gene from her 2 parents, and she took her vampire and witch legacy from her father, who is the original hybrid, and the son of the original witch. For her mother, who is dropped from the Lebanese family, Hope also has the werewolf gene. For the witch part, she practiced and tested her magic as a baby. That indicated that she's becoming a witch. As Witches stated, her TRIBRID will not end. This can be noticed when Camille O'Connell drives with baby Hope in the back seat to the Mikaelson safe house, which will explode after. Hope saves herself and Cole by using magic. And when it comes to her werewolf part, she's quite strong and has obtained all the powers of lycanthropy. Her werewolf side does not affect her ability to practice magic. For the vampire part, she is not a vampire, but she has vampiric qualities, particularly in her blood, as her blood was the thing that healed her mother. When it comes to saving herself, she can do that while using her blood, but that would take her much time and effort. Also, her blood can heal a werewolf bite. Did you guys know about this? Number 7, Alaric Saltzman.
Because there's a knife that sat dormant for centuries that started attracting mystical creatures the day he took possession of it.
Legacies is continuing the story of the Vampire Diaries as a unique, fun show with incredible new characters. However, like the Vampire Diaries' first spinoff, The Originals, Legacies brought some of the TVD and The Originals actors into their show. Back when Legacies Season 2 aired, we saw several actors who appeared in TVD, The Originals, and Legacies. So who were they? Alaric Rick Saltzman has been with us, well, since forever. He was a history teacher at Mystic Falls High School when he appeared in the Vampire Diaries Season 1. He also made an appearance in a few episodes of the originals, and we all know he's the main character of Legacies. He had a role as director of the Salvatore School in the Vampire Diaries series finale, so he appeared in every show that somehow connects to Legacies. Have you noticed him in TBD and the originals before? Number 6. Hope Mikaelson, Danielle Rose Russell. Now this is a pretty obvious one, but not many fans know that Hope Mikaelson, the main character of Legacies, has appeared in the Vampire Diaries and the originals. She's the daughter of Klaus Mikaelson and Hayley Marshall, but her character wasn't always played by the same person since she was first a baby, then a toddler, and then young Summer Fontana in Season 4, before a time jump occurred which led to the casting of Danielle Rose Russell as teen Hope in the original Season 5. Now with her own show, Rose Russell is perfectly representing her role, and we're looking forward to seeing more of her in the future. Number 5. STEFAN Salvatore's journals.
I can't imagine a world with you gone. The joy and the
The Salvatore Library was once the famous place for STEFAN and DAMON, Ian Somerhalder, to enjoy bourbon and talk about supernatural issues. Now the place has turned into a library. The show did a great job renaming the STEFAN Salvatore Memorial Library in honor of him losing his life in the Vampire Diaries series finale to save Mystic Falls from Catherine Pierce, portrayed by the iconic Nina Dobrev. But did you guys know that the school has a particular case that holds STEFAN's journals, his daylight ring, and the necklace he gave Elena? Number 4. Damon and Elena's children. We all remember when Lizzie wished for an alternate reality where Hope never visited the Salvatore School, and then we heard Lizzie mentioning Damon and Elena's kids. So, as it looks like the Salvatores have been very charitable to their school, but they also had other things to take care of, such as their kids. Do you guys know what this means? Damon and Elena have babies. A few episodes later, Josie mentions Stephanie Salvatore, and we can be sure that she's Damon and Elena's daughter. Number 3. Klaus in New Orleans.
Because you never cease to amaze me.
Legacy certainly did a great storyline with Hope, Danielle Rose Russell, Landon, Arya Shagasemi, and the Saltzman's twin stories. But as we previously mentioned, there are millions of Easter eggs in the show regarding TBD and the originals. The necromancer, which is discussed throughout Klaus's walk through Hope's subconscious, explained that he spent a lot of time in New Orleans before the 1920s, since Klaus was always great at killing people throughout the years. A few people know that that was a nod to Klaus's murder cases on the originals, which afterward made him and Rebecca, Claire Holt, go to Chicago in the 1920s when Michael appeared to hunt them down. Number 2. STEFAN callback.
Hi, this is Stefan. Leave your number.
Stefan, please.
Legacies constantly gives references to its parent series, The Vampire Diaries in Season 2, and we were most surprised when they did a STEFAN callback. The Salvatore brother was the topic of a different sentimental storyline to the series that, believe it or not, started a decade ago. So did you detect the callback? If not, when you watch Legacies Season 2, you'll stumble upon something that connects the two shows. Legacy's executive producer Brett Matthews explained why Landon's dorm room seemed so familiar. So if you thought you'd seen the bedroom somewhere, or probably it looked like something from STEFAN Salvatore, there was a reason. Matthew confirmed that the Vampire Diaries callback on Twitter, posting, "STEFAN's bedroom is doubling as Landon's new room in Legacy Season 2. Given his altruistic nature, I'm sure that STEFAN would not begrudge Landon his old place. Plus, it is another neat way for the spin-off to give a nod to Vampire Diaries. Of course, the Salvatore family comes up regularly with the school bearing their name. Number 1. Another TBD reference.
Salvatore School.
We teach discipline, compassion, a little magic, but mostly.
Let's just hope that the series will feature some of the TBD characters in the next season. Now, did you know that Legacies has named a character with a Vampire Diaries reference? Or maybe Legacies adding a new character, supposed to have some connections to Ian Somerhalder? So the show chose to repeat his and Bonnie's dynamic with different Legacies relationship. Bosch star Bianca Kylick played Sheriff Mack. Her name is a reference to actress Marguerite McIntyre, who portrayed Sheriff Forbes on The Vampire Diaries. That fan-favorite character died before the series finished, so Legacies did a great job here. Now we would all love it if Paul Wesley does a guest spot on Legacies as another role besides STEFAN. Maybe this will be the case in the upcoming season, who knows? Also, we would be thrilled if we see Elena and Damon also making an appearance, which is a huge possibility. The Vampire Diaries lives on with its second spin-off series in Legacies. Legacies is the third show in the Vampire Diaries universe, as it takes a character from the originals, Hope Mikaelson, and puts her back in Mystic Falls, the hometown for STEFAN and Damon Salvatore on the Vampire Diaries. And with Alaric Saltzman working as headmaster of the Salvatore School, which Hope goes to, as we saw, there are some not so obvious crossovers for vampire fans. So guys, we end our video here. Is there something interesting you noticed in Legacies that we forgot to mention? Let us know in the comments section below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more amazing videos such as this. Thanks for watching!